I leave in 1972, straight to Palo Alto, California, to Stanford Research Institute. And that's where Dr. Hal Puthoff and Russell Targ and Edgar Mitchell and all those scientists who had very direct links to the CIA, they set up the experiments with me. So that was the beginning.
This film describes a 5-week investigation conducted at Stanford Research Institute with Uri Geller, a young Israeli. The film portrays experiments that we performed with him just as they were carried out. Each scene has been taken from film footage made during actual experiments. Nothing has been restaged or specially created.
The experiments in Stanford Research Institute conducted by these scientists for the CIA and the American Defense Department, they were all done under laboratory-controlled conditions. Actually, one of the scientists, Russell Targ, was a magician, so he knew trickery and so on. They built a Faraday cage, or maybe they already had a Faraday cage at Stanford, and I sat in this Faraday cage, in this shielded room, and drawings were done outside the room or in houses of the experimenters, and I was not allowed to touch them, and I had to sit in that room with a marker and paper and duplicate the drawings that were inside the sealed envelopes. And I was 100% correct almost all the time. Some drawings were millimetrically the same size. I explained it that I was so precise because I had time. On a stage, not under laboratory-controlled conditions, in a show, I don't have time. I can invest 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes into a telepathical routine, but there, trying to receive a drawing with extrasensory perception, I could sit for half an hour. One of the most complicated one was a bunch of grapes. They drew 24 grapes, I got 24 grapes. If you measure the size of the grape, it's the same size, really incredible. Then they had very different drawings like the devil, which strangely enough, call it religious-wise, mentally, I couldn't get the devil. What I did get are the 10 Commandments, planet Earth, and a trident that the devil was holding. I'm mystified by that. There was another drawing which wasn't done by human beings. A computer, which probably was at the basement of Stanford Research Institute, picked out a word out of a dictionary, I believe, that's to the best of my recollection, and it drew a kite with a tail, and I got it. I got the kite, and they were amazed. Now, while these experiments were going on, I managed to affect the computers in the basement of Stanford. The rumor is that I erased computer tapes. And that's when the CIA say, what? He can erase computer tapes with his mind. And then I did experiments with floppy disk, where I put my hand over the floppy disk, because there were floppy disks then, and I would erase the information. This was vital for the CIA, because later on I did erase computer tapes that KGB agents were taking out of Mexico City with secret information. I'll talk about that in a moment. But one very well recorded incident that happened inside Stanford Research Institute in Palo Alto, California, where scientists put a weight on an electronic scale under a bell jar, so nobody can say that I blew on it or I moved it, and under charts that measure movements precisely. I made that weight lose weight. I levitated probably, and it's all under controlled conditions. And then, this is amazing, we took a break from one of the experiments, and I think it was Hal Puthoff, who is a physicist, and Russell Targ, who took me to the canteen of Stanford Institute. And I was eating ice cream, and I put a scoop of ice cream into my mouth. and I feel something metallic in the ice cream, so I spit it out onto the table. And Edgar Mitchell, the astronaut, picks it up and he says, "This looks very familiar to me." It was an arrowhead, a broken off arrowhead. As we walk in the corridor of Stanford Research Institute, we all hear a clang on the wall, back, back, back. And on the floor falls the second half of that object that I found in the ice cream. And Ed picks it up. You know, Ed walked on the moon. He puts it together and he says, "Oh my God, this is my tie pin. I lost it years ago on a beach in Florida." Wow, a genuine dematerialization.